we're going to spend a little bit of time here in nature with Nature, this beautifully illustrated game, and it is 1 to 4 player, and it is by North Star Game Studio.
Yes, and designed by Dominic Crapuchet. This is I guess I would call it a spiritual successor, very much in the same ilk as a game he's been previously very involved with, the Evolution series.
And a bit of Ocean as well.
Yes. Across all of those Evolution games, this has very much that kind of vibe. We're going to be building up species. We're going to be fighting over scarce resources and food.
We're going to eat each other.
And potentially eating each other.
Potentially. And hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant here.
From Meeple University. What we're going to do an overview of the game, and then we're going to kind of like get right into the game so you can see how the turn works, and I'm going to play a few rounds for this game.
Yes, so let's do the very first thing here, because we have this snow leopard, which is the first player marker. So
let's just fight for the snow leopard.
Let's just fight
1, 2, 3. I win.
Okay,
I get
right,
this.
so you get that.
Okay.
So this is nature. It is very much an evolution type of game because we're going to be building up species and trying to be the most dominant. And whoever can eat the most food, whether it be plant or meat across the course of the game, will be the winner. And the way this game has been built up, it's a quicker sort of game. It plays over 4 rounds, or you can extend it to 5 or 6 if you want to play a longer game. And they've got this set up with some lovely components here, these nice wooden components here representing your species.
Yeah, they're doing very well with the components, although this is still a prototype version of the game.
Indeed. And there's also, it's very modular. So there's lots of modules that come with the game. And we are going to be showing you the flight module. So this is the rulebook for the flight module here. It shows everything that's different. But in our game, we are going to have land species and air species. It's fundamentally how it's going to play. So let's get straight into it. We'll show you the first round, and we'll show you the first round probably pretty quickly. It's an introductory round because we're each only going to have one very small species. So the first thing that's going to happen is we each choose a size 1, population 1 species to get ourselves going. And we can choose whether we want a land species or a flying species. So you go first.
I'm going straight into getting the flying species.
All right, well, I will stay on land then. So each of these represents a species of size 1, and we begin with 1 population.
So regardless of this, this is just 1 population, because it's like
even
slightly
if
different.
there's 10 or 5 or whatever antelopes drawn on it. All right, then we each get to draw 5 nature cards, and we can choose which deck to draw them from. Stella's not limited to only getting flight cards. I'm not limited to only getting base cards. It's just that there's one type of card in here which can only be played on flying species. Take your cards.
I'm going to get 3 of these, and I'm going to get 2 of these.
Okay. I'll grab 4 off the ground and 1 from the air. Okay, now we're ready to go into the adapting phase. We each take 1 turn here. We're going to be building up our species. And the question is, why are we building up our species? What do we want to do? We want to eat food. And to begin the game, this is our watering hole. And in the watering hole, there's an amount of plants which comes every turn. And it's actually set at the start of the game. This can be quite variable. We drew a card here with a 2, so it means there'll be 2 food per player added per round. That's why there's 4 in there. So that's on the scarcer side, I would say. It's going to be a relatively plant-scarce game. We're probably going to have to become carnivores and eat each other a bit more quickly than we might otherwise.
Sorry, I just like the thought of me like eating Tarrant.
It's just eating my species.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Now, with the cards in hand, each of these cards is a trait card. If you have a look here, these are various traits which the species can have, and these are things that can help them eat more quickly or defend themselves from other species. There's also the predatory trait. This is out here in a pile. If you want to become a predator, you can just take that as a trait. And we'll show you how that works later. On your turn, you can play any number of the cards in your hand. You can play them as traits on your species, up to a maximum of 3 per species. you can just discard a card to increase the population of that species by 1 step, which is good because a larger population will eat more, has the opportunity to eat more and therefore give you more food points. You can increase the size of your species. Larger species are stronger, they can eat more, there's some benefits to doing that. Or you can just hang on to the cards until next round.
I'm going to allocate these 3 cards as traits, so this won't get revealed until Tarrant picks his. And I'm going to use these 2 cards to discard. And I am, like this card. Yep. I'm going to increase the population of these species to 3.
Yes.
I mean, I'm the first player. I'm going to have potentially, like most likely, I'm going to have first dip into the watering hole.
Yeah, so it could leave the food scarce for my species, depending on how much food you can eat at once.
That's true.
I'm going to go a little more quickly into increasing the basic stats. I'm going to put 1 here. I'm going to hang on to this card in hand for now, and then I'm going to discard these 3. One of those will be to increase the size of my species. So I'm going to go to a size 2, and I'm going to add 2 population. Is that wise? It could be risky. It depends how much food you get to eat for whether that. I'm going to hope that your small species, I can be more dominant and try to get the food.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to hold this one in hand. I'm not becoming a predator. All right, and now we reveal. We can see the traits of our respective species. And now we will go to the feeding phase. So I'll explain the feeding phase, ignoring the traits, first of all. So we are both herbivores. We both eat food from the watering hole. And we would go back and forward, starting with the first player, identifying one species to feed. And when that species feeds, you count up its feeding value, or its foraging value, which is the size plus any foraging icons on its traits. And then it takes that many food from the watering hole, placing them on its population to feed them, up to a maximum of what its population is. And then we would go back and forward until there was no food left to pass around. And then any population token which fails to eat starves and is lost. And any food that is gained then goes into our bag, where it'll score 1 point at the end of the game. And then if any species is completely unfed, then that species is extinct. That's as simple as it is until we have predators, and so that's what we'll show now. The other thing that can happen with the flight species, the birds, is that instead of doing a foraging turn, they can go off and migrate to this faraway island where they get a new fed population token. And that's helpful because they can go over there. It's safe from being attacked if there were predators, but if you go too early and not all of the tokens are yet fed, then anyone that migrates without being fed will starve. So that being the case, some of that is modified by the traits. So let's go in turn by turn and we'll explain the traits as we go along.
Yep. So I will feed first. I only have capacity of 1, so none of my cards give me extra 1. So I'll feed 1, so 1 leaf here, from the watering hole into one of my populations. Now, this is where this opportunistic card comes in. So after I forage, then I get to get 2 from, not from the watering hole, but to this different meat icon to here. It's 2 if there's still at least 1 food in the watering hole, which I have.
Yes, the picture shows it's a species that goes and grabs eggs from other species while they're off in the watering hole.
Yeah. So these are the 2. They actually don't take effect, and it just adds more to my shields. And flocking also adds to my shields if I am not migrated. So, but at this stage, I'm not worried that no one's going to attack me, no predators. So I'm going to migrate. So I'll migrate, and I would fly to this beautiful paradise island. And I will gain 1 population because the birds are happy, they're making more babies, and it's also already fed. It comes fed. That's my turn.
All right. we come to my turn. I've got a size 2 species with an extra 2 of foraging from having claws. So I could eat up to 4 from the watering hole. I only have space for 3. There's only 3 there. So I get those 3. They feed my species. 1, 2, 3. The watering hole is now empty.
And my task would normally take effect, but I don't have a populations unfed.
And it's migrated, so it's out of play.
Doesn't do anything at this stage.
I'm amused by the thought of these tusked birds.
It's called gull hawk. A seagull and a hawk.
Yes. Very good. All right. And so that's it. That's the end of the first round. It's a very simple round. That will typically be the case because everyone only has one species. All right. So all the food that we successfully ate goes into our little food bags ready to score at the end of the game. I become the first player. So this just rotates from round to round. And then we go to the next round.
You see, with the birds, it's quite easy to migrate and gain a fed population, but birds can only grow up to 2 size, so it can't go more than 2, and it doesn't score at the end of the game.
Yeah, that means they're a little bit weaker from a defense standpoint, although you've got some pretty hard shell on this particular bird. And yeah, it doesn't score. A species that's not extinct is going to score 2 points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But not if it's flying. So we refill things. The migration board gets 1 extra fed token per player.
Yes.
And the watering hole, based on our setup, is going to get 2 food per player. I'm going to take another land species.
I'm going to do the same. And we start with 1.
1 population. And now it's time to draw. So I will this time take 2 flight cards and 3 base cards. And they're added to this 1 card I had previous round as well.
That's right. I'm going to take 3 base and 2 flight. And you are the first player.
I am. All right. I will play this trait on here. I'll play this trait here. I'm going to grab a predatory card and add that here as well. So you now know I've got a predator. Right, and then I will discard my remaining 4 cards. I'll discard 1 to add another population to my predator. I will discard 1 to increase the size of my non-predator. And I'll discard 2 to gain extra population to my non-predator. Okay.
I'm going to add 2 this time. It's my trait. Plus, ta-da!
I think our species have very quickly seen that there's not a lot of plants growing.
No,
in the world
it's kind of like a forces has to be predator. Oof, 1 predator each. And the 3 cards I'm just going to discard to its respective pile to first grow this into 2 and then gaining 2 population. Okay. So we both have 2 size predators.
So we reveal our traits and move on to the feeding phase.
Starting you.
So I'll explain. I've got 2 options. I could feed with this size 2 creature here, and that would mean the creature would go and it would take 2 plants from the watering hole, put them onto here, it would feed 2 of the population. However, I have the scavenging trait. It's going to eat 2 meat whenever a species hunts. And there's a couple of predators out there, so I can probably feed this without going to the watering hole.
That's true. Your species or my species.
So I'll probably eat with my predator first. So the predator has 5 attack, 2 off this and 3 off this. So I can eat anything that has 5 or fewer defense represented by this shell. That includes my own species. So these scavengers have 2. Your species over here has 6 defense, so I can't eat that species. And normally I wouldn't be able to eat a flying species. That's a general rule for land animals versus flying animals. However, I have a camouflage trait which ignores flying when hunting. Hunting is eating meat. So I just have to check the defenses. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. You've got 6 on here because you get +2 defense for each non-migrated species. So actually it would be very bad for me to feed with this because I'm going to have to eat my own species because I must eat when I do it. All right, so I could be in some strife here. So instead I'm going to try to string this out. I'm going to feed with my scavenging species. I'm just going to go and eat 2 plants from the watering hole. And I'm going to hope that you migrate these guys quickly.
All right, my gullhog species, I mean, you don't have to name your species. My gullhog species will eat first. So it has only 1, so I eat 1, zwink. But after any of my species forage or hunts, this species eats 2 if there's something in the watering hole. So I'm going to activate that one. Swing. And that's for now.
All right, well, I need to try to string this along again. So I will use my scavenging creature again. I could take 2 plants, but there's only 1. So I'll grab that
and you can't
and place
take
it on there.
You can't take it anyway.
Yes, I didn't have extra population to take.
Now this one takes it back because the watering hole is empty. I get to eat 1. Zoink. No, that wasn't my turn. That was just the effect at Tarrant's turn.
Yes.
Now I want to feed this one. So this is a predator with 4 attacks.
Both of my species are potential targets. I've got 3 defense on this one and I've got 2 defense on this one.
I'm going to have to eat this species of yours because I can't attack this camouflaged, and the defense for this one is 2.
2, yes, it's size 2. This one has defense 3 but is camouflaged, so
I can't eat
can't
that.
be seen.
Plus I want to eat that one anyway because it'd be interesting for you to eat your own species maybe.
Yes, which I think I'm going to be stuck doing.
Sorry. So let's do that.
Yep,
All
so
right.
how hunting works, I lose 1 of the population. It's already eaten, but I don't get to score that food, unfortunately. So I lose 1 of the population, and that provides 2 food in the form of meat for you, because that is a size 2 animal.
Nice. So 2 meat it is.
Okay. Now it comes to my turn. I can't take a turn with this species. I will have to take my turn here. So nothing has changed since before. Both of your species have too much defense for my camouflaged creature here, so I'm going to have to eat my own creature, which is very sad.
So sad.
So same thing happens here. I flip this
Sorry,
over
Karen.
and then I get 2 meat from it.
It's cannibal.
They're different species.
Yeah, I know. Tarrant's
Just because
eating
they both
Tarrant.
belong to me, they're different species.
I know.
It's all the natural order of things. And I mean, you've got that option in this game. You can make species just to have your
That's true.
own creature eat them if it's most beneficial.
All right, I'm going to eat the same creature. So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye indeed. This creature is completely extinct now. It found itself at the bottom of the food chain and it's gone.
Aww.
So you would get 2 meat, you've only got 1 place to
Yep.
put it. So you only take the 1, the other one goes nowhere.
Wasted food. Aww.
Now I do get to take this card back into my hand. It's one of the game doesn't punish you too badly when your species are killed or go extinct. You do not get to eat with them in this round, but you get the cards back, and I'll show you some other benefits that will come up at the start of the next round. However, I now have to take my turn. This species has no valid available prey, and so my turn is that one of these starves.
Now I migrate. I mean, I could have migrated after this is full, but then that means like I don't fit this. So now I migrate. I will again this.
Yes. Migration timing is an interesting thing. Like if you're
Yeah.
at risk of being eaten, you can migrate early, and even though some of them starve, I don't get to eat and my guys might starve. And speaking of my guys starving, there we go.
Sorry, Tarrant.
And we're done. There's no unfed creatures left on the board.
That is not starving already.
Indeed. So that is the end of
Round 2.
round 2. So we replenish as before.
And the food goes into the bag, and that's scoring at the end of the game.
Yep, so I only get 2 points this round. That's going to be tricky to come back from. However, there is a little bit of a catch-up. So now we would go to the next round. you would get your standard size 1, population 1 species.
Get another bird.
Sorry, that was a double piece. Yep. And then for me, I get my new species gets the benefit of my old species. So because a size 2 species has gone extinct, I get to add those 2 sizes to my new species. So it goes, instead of being size 1, it goes to size 3.
Nice.
And that happens up to a maximum of 4. So yeah, I got eaten last round, but I've got something stronger that's just come onto the block. I get the standard 1 population, and all of my lost population from the last round come onto my new species. So I've got a population 6 size 3 species that has just emerged from the primordial soup, and hopefully I can find a way to feed it in this round. Otherwise they're just going to go the way of my scavenger.
I think that's good. If you have the birds and if that happens to you, you can only go up to 2 size, and that's just the limit with the flight module, I guess.
Yeah. And so there we go. That is 2 out of the 5 rounds. The base game does play 4 rounds. Each module adds another round. You'll see that as the game continues to go on, everyone will have 3 or 4 species. The food chains will be much more complicated. There's a thing you can do which we didn't get to see here because we had so many predators, is that you can add food to the watering hole by holding cards in your hand and discarding them. They each have this number in the bottom, and that's how much food gets added, and you can do that either before you eat or even after you eat so that you can keep other species alive for your predators. We would count up what's in our bags.
1 each.
1 point for each, and 2 points for each species which has not gone extinct except for
birds. Yeah, I'm going to show you other cards as well in this flight module. So we shown the camouflage, good eyesight, we haven't seen, we just got discarded. So this is just +1 of the same food type while eating. This is just adding more to the watering hole. Nesting is a good one. If there's food in the watering hole at the start of the cleanup phase, then you gain 1 population and it's already fed. And that's from the meat area. So that's just the variation that you have in the flight module.
And then there's a whole lot of other modules. So I'll just show you the fronts of the rule books for these. There are biomes and modules and things. So there's the rainforest module. There's the Jurassic module.
Nice.
So this you can bring dinosaurs in. You will have noticed if you had good eyesight that there are size 4 birds in these trays. Those come with the Jurassic module. You can get big birds there. Arctic tundra, species get cold, natural disasters. So lots of modules, lots of expandability to this game.
I'm going to show you also a few of the other cards from the basic stack.
I like this one. Horned. This is when you get hunted. The hunter loses population equal to the size of the horned creature. So
nice.
It could come and eat one of your elk.
Yes.
And get 4 population lost in
I know,
return.
yes, in the turn. And there's also fast, which you can have more than 1 trait of fasts, being like super fast supersede the creature with only 1 fast.
Yeah, so
for
you
example,
can't get eaten by a slower creature.
Yeah. The social we've seen before, which haven't explained, just +2 meat when eating meat.
Yep. And +2 food when eating from that icon in the top left corner.
And that's nature. You pretty much see almost all of the mechanics that's in the game in the short 2 rounds. So I could go pretty quick, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. And let us know if you have any questions in the comments below, and hopefully you have a great day. Check out the project page in the link in the description below, and see you later. Bye.